I loves me some 1 degree of Chunky B.
Now, I just have to make a comment about Chunky B. Have you ever seen him looking so good?
The panel then includes actress Lainey Kazan, comedian Chunky B, and Playboy TV host Julie Strain. Chunky?
What was the question? Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for come on. You know something? Let's just breathe. Let's just feel good about each other.
Let's shake it off.
Just know something. Outside this garage, there's chaos, there's hate, there's disappointment. But this is the garage of love, where we are one with nature.
That got creepy real quick.
I know.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, we
good
want to always say thank you to our sponsor of the golden beverage, the nectar of the goddesses. Yes, I put an ESS on it.
You should.
Say hello to Lucky Duck, Venice Duck Brewery from John Henry Binder and Christian Warren. They've been with us from the beginning. And 2 seasons ago, they break through at Dodger Stadium.
That's right. This is the agave blonde ale, which I particularly like.
And we're shouting out, we need more beers.
Yeah.
And you know something? I'm not a dark beer guy. So let's just bring the blondes.
Yeah, the hemp stout is a little much for me.
Yeah. And you know something? We joke, we kid,
Oh, you
but
do.
we love.
Andy and I are.
Check out the
On
new
board.
Ask the Caps. I will bust the
Ask the cap in your ass cap.
Yes. You guys, we joke, but we do love. Do yourself a favor. Get the moisturizer.
Yeah.
You can liquefy.
It still cracks me.
Andy,
Yeah,
please, we're
as
professionals.
As it should. Look at the packaging, for God's sakes.
And
It's
you
like
guys-
a bad Merlot.
It's a bad Merlot. It's a California Merlot right there.
When you're thinking about the sun, before, during, and after, put some Astaglow all over your body, and I want to let you know you'll reap the benefits, and people are going to be like, "Are you getting younger?"
It's true. It happens to me almost every day.
Yeah, and you're the Astro Sport kind of guy.
I do. I like the Asta Sport. After I surf, I splash on a little Asta Sport.
Yeah.
And I use the suppository from time to time.
And I would like to say, I would like to say a sincere hello to Gary Adler, the executive producer in the Garage
Chunk.
of Love.
Thanks,
How are you,
Chunk.
my friend?
I feel welcome. I'll tell you that.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. I'll tell Andy that.
We're all semi-fatigued.
Yeah, we're a little fatigued.
Speaking of Andy,
it's almost like we've done 2 shows
How many
tonight.
shows we're going to do tonight?
America, stay focused. Say hello to Andy Davey.
The manimal, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you keep that up.
You know, there's moments in time where you just really miss the Wizard of the Knobs. Travis Spencer.
This is the moment.
Travis, please come home.
Yeah.
Please come home.
Yeah, and Alex, if you're listening, we could use you too.
Yes. Helen Keller, are you? Hey, everybody in Raleigh. Oh yes, and right over my shoulder, give it up for the guy on the couch.
Guy on the couch, man, from Akron, Ohio.
No, Dayton.
Was it Dayton?
Dayton, Ohio.
Oh.
And now he gets a plane ticket out here from Ohio.
Yeah.
Now he's sticking around and actually being part of the show. That's how easy we are.
Yeah, he's booking guests. And not just anybody. We'll get to that.
Exactly. Here we go. 3, 2, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's a good day to be alive, and I am so happy you are dialing in today because today is like no other day. We've got a show for you. We've got a show that you may, and I don't want you driving and texting, but if you're texting, I mean, if you're driving right now, you might want to tell a friend.
Yeah, text
Tune
your
in
friends, for
to
sure.
WKRP 101.9 on your FM dial, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, if you're in traffic and there's kudzu all around you, just tune in to 101.9.
I'm not even sure where you're going.
I don't
but
either.
Safety first, because we are
Fucking
safe
hammer.
in the Garage of Love. 1 degree of Chunky B, and please dial in at chunkyb.tv and spread the love and spread the word of the kindness that goes on in this mayhem of a garage.
Yeah, this is cool. We're in Venice. This is what we do. We get really cool people to come on, sit down in the garage with us, and just have a little chit-chat.
You have never spoken the truth more than you just did right then.
Yeah.
Because we've got what we call just a an international badass.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got Americans, sometimes we got, Canadians.
Yeah.
God bless them. I like Canadians.
Yeah.
Until you put a hockey stick in their hand and they get all fucked up.
Yeah, they get
That's
all
crazy.
personal
and,
with you.
And we do dig their bacon. Canadians, if you're listening, we do
Yeah,
dig
not
your
a
bacon.
bad syrup as well.
Here we go, folks. Look me in the eye, these baby blues, because it's go time. An actor, a man of the beach, a man of the world, a man of wisdom, kindness, and integrity.
And
Please.
words.
And the spoken word and the written word.
That's
Patience.
right.
And we're and patience.
Oh my God, this is the most patient guy I know. Yeah.
He's doing the Lord's work today. Ladies and gentlemen, give your undivided attention to our new great friend. Goes by the name of Cliff Simon.
Man,
Yeah,
this guy,
thank you. How you doing?
the only guy to sign twice.
Are we in overtime?
We are, yes.
We're about to hit golden time.
You're going to get another, you get the second
Golden
per diem.
years, yeah.
Second per diem kicks in.
Hey, you're an actor.
I
You're
am.
an actor, and that's what's paying the bills right now. But I would want you to set the table. Give us your journey, because your journey is like no other journey that I've. Sure. Oh gosh, my parents were this, and I was raised like this. But you truly have a unique, kind of an enduring story. Lay it on us.
Well, as you can hear, I was born in South Africa. Of course, one of the greatest years of my life was in 2005, becoming a United States citizen. There's a long reason. It was a long road getting here. I experienced a lot before I got to the United States. Just written this book, Paris Nights, my year at the Moulin Rouge.
Check that out, everybody.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
We're gonna get to that.
We'll get to that.
now.
And I know, Cliff, I don't mean to cut you off, but there's some things that I really am interested about. You were bound to be an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
And go back even a little further than that. Tell us how that all started.
So, growing up in South Africa, my parents, I grew up in South Africa as a swimmer, and my parents eventually decided South African politics, apartheid, they didn't want to be part of that anymore. They didn't agree with the government of South Africa. They wanted something better for their kids. They got us out of South Africa, my one sister and myself. I had 3 sisters, and we moved to England. I was swimming 6.5 hours a day training. My goal in those days was to be an Olympic gold medalist.
Now, would you be swimming for South Africa or England?
No, South Africa was banned from the Olympics because of apartheid.
Because of apartheid.
So that was one of the reasons I went to Britain. After 1 year in Britain, I was eligible to swim for the British international team, which I did.
Right.
I then qualified for the 1984 Olympic Games and was training towards that, 6.5 hours a day.
Right.
It didn't happen. I eventually got out of the pool, burnt out after 3 years of training, and decided I'm going back to South Africa.
That's got to be a monumental moment in your childhood, even though like you're 16 at this time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you're 16, and your parents and everybody around you is thinking, this guy's going to L.A. in '84 and representing us, swim and breast and fly.
Right.
And then you decide right there, bam.
Yeah, it was quite a big blow, especially for my family, especially for my coach. I mean, my swimming coach put so much time into me because at the age of 16 in England, I was 7th fastest in Great Britain overall, even
Really?
amongst the senior swimmers. So I knew I had a chance to medal and probably gold medal. That was my dream, and I knew I would do it. And yeah, I got out of the pool.
But what's crazy is not only did you get out of the pool, you went back home to represent you in South Africa in the national in the service.
Yeah, I totally went against everything. I completely destroyed my parents. The whole reason why they took me out of the country and went through all the expense and stress of moving to a new country. I even went to South African embassy in London and I said, will you guys fly me back to South Africa because I want to go into the military? And they said no. My parents paid for me to go back to South Africa, and I went back. Yeah.
How much stress did it put on the relationship between you and your parents?
Were
they ready to disown you?
No, they weren't. I mean, I think my dad never served. He kind of fell between after World War II, and he never did his service. But I think he was deep down, he was kind of happy in a way that I wanted to do it. And I think he was kind of proud of me in those days. My dad was a really old school guy, And he taught me huge lessons in life. Huge. It's all in the book. More stories. But the one lesson, very, very importantly, when I was 12 years old, he taught me how to sail. He loved sailing. That's where I get it from. And we went out sailing one day. A big storm blew in. We came back to the shore, and he said, I want you to take the boat out on your own. And I'm like, Dad, there's a storm, there's lightning, I can't do it. He said, take the boat on your own.
And you
now,
did.
My dad never used to have to shout at me, ever. He was one of those guys that when he looked at you and said, do something, you do it. So I took the boat on my own at 12 years old. High wind. The wind was probably gale force winds at like 40 miles an hour.
Right.
I took the boat out to the center of the lake, turned it around, and came back to where I left. And we packed up the sails and we got in the car and we never spoke about it again. But that lesson, that has been a lesson throughout my whole life. That one lesson. And the 2 days before he passed away, I brought that up again to him. And he'd forgotten about it. And I reminded him how important it was. And it was because of that day is why I am where I am now.
Really?
Yeah. He taught me, and it wasn't about being fearless. It was about overcoming your fear and facing your fear. And that's what I did. So he was that kind of guy. So he was proud of me that I went into the military. Yeah.
Well, you know something? That's something that I do know about you, even though we were just becoming, new best friends. Yeah, besties.
for sure.
But there's one thing that I adored when I was kind of looking and researching your coolness, is that you look fear in the eye and kind of laugh at it, because your resume of just being active outside of your profession, outside of acting, outside of just being a regular dude in Culver City, you've traveled the world. You've you've done some crazy things, and touch base. There's one thing that I want to bring up, but touch base on some of the crazy shit.
You ever get hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been hurt, but not badly. Put it this way, I've only been punched in the face once.
Really?
Nice. Well, the night's early.
Please,
you guys
teach me a lesson. Teach me a lesson.
Not me, Andy.
Yeah. Andy, are we good with this?
Yeah, we're good. We're just trying. We got a couple of technical problems.
All right, because I don't think I hear you on the headset.
Yeah, I'm not being. You guys go ahead. Talk
Okay.
about yourself.
Okay.
You know something? Were you a fighter at all?
A fighter, as in
Yeah,
like
like
street
growing
fighter?
up. Yeah. Were you like?
Not until about the age of not until the military. After the military, yeah, I was in about 2 or 3 street fights a week in South Africa.
Really?
Yeah.
You seem like there's such a calm.
yeah, I am, but I went a little crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I actually kind of started to enjoy it.
Oh, really? Because you were winning.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's in the book. I mean,
It's all in
there's
the book.
I'll tell
And
you,
we're gonna get this book.
To
We're gonna
touch
get
on
to the
that.
book.
To touch on that, why it happened in the military was because I was always a swimmer. I was involved in sport. As a kid, I never went out. I never hit the streets with my buddies and got into trouble.
Right.
And took girls out. Like, girls to me were like, I didn't know anything about girls until I turned 18. Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, because I was so involved in swimming. And then I went into the military, and the first fight I had was at a bar in South Africa during my basic training. And I ended up hitting a guy, and the guy flew over the car into the street. And I was shocked. I stood there looking at him, thinking, like,
Did I just do
did
that?
I'm actually strong. Like, I did that. That's what the military did to me. It made me strong.
Right.
But also mentally strong, you know? And then I kind of like, I never started a fight, put it that way. But if there was ever a fight, I
Right.
would never run away from it or back away from it. Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing.
Because you're a badass. You are a freaking badass. But you have such. You're calm. You're cool. You're collected. And before we go any further, guys, I just want to double check. Is the audio cool?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can't hear me either.
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just keep going.
good?
Do we got
Check,
our
check,
meters?
check. 1, 2, check. All right,
There we
we're
go.
good. We're
There
empty.
we
go.
Input's good.
All right, and the reason why we're doing this, people, is we're just making sure that America is not cheated, or the world is not cheated out of a word
Yeah, right.
that Clip Simon says.
Especially North
Did I
Carolina.
just say Simon says?
You did.
See, that's kind of cute.
Did you make that
That's
up?
cute. And you guys,
That's cool. What was? Do we talk about swimming already? I don't know. I was dealing with it.
check this out, everybody. If you're listening to this, I want to thank you. But if you get a chance, just go to 1 Degree of Chunky B. Go to chunkyb.tv and see what a fucking good-looking man this guy is.
Thank you, Chunk.
I am talking about our
Oh,
guest. Our guest, real funny. This guy, first of all, smooth. He's got the accent. Good looking, caring. And I know we're going to jump into these books because I didn't get a chance to like really read it because maybe I'm not one of like a reader.
You're not a reader.
Yeah.
But listen, I'm not a reader. Trust me.
But here's something that's crazy. You get your groove going into the wheels of acting, and we're going to come right up against this book here. And one of the crazy things is you were not a dancer. You were not a guy on stage, doing the cha-cha or whatever, but you get a phone call that changed your life. Tell us about that.
Right. So a friend of mine I'm busy in South Africa doing my thing. I'm teaching windsurfing and all those kind of things. A friend of mine who's a principal dancer at the Moulin Rouge calls me and tells me if someone in the show has broken their leg and they need a replacement dancer. The management's seen my photograph. I'm the right height. Come over. They want you. I pack up everything I have, which is nothing, one bag literally, and I sell my little Fiat 850 Spider full of beach sand, which is worth nothing. And I managed to get together an air ticket to Paris, and off I go, only to realize I still had to audition. Were you
freaking out?
I was freaking out completely. I had no way. If I didn't make the audition, I wouldn't have been able to fly anyway. I was screwed. But I made the audition, luckily. I did the can-can class. I did somersaults, flick-flacks, all my acrobatics for them. And that was it. Yeah, and I started as a swing dancer, became a chorus dancer, and within 6 months was principal.
Damn. Okay, so now you got the taste. You know you're the man. You went through the ranks faster than probably anybody around.
Anyone that's ever been there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you got this groove. How long were you on a principal?
Sorry, what was that?
How long were you the principal?
So I was principal for actually 6 months before I left the show. I decided after a year of being at the show, I needed to move on.
Was it burnt out? Were you getting burnt out?
No,
just getting hungry.
No, I was hungry.
Too much poontang, I think. I mean, if you want to be serious,
there's got to because here it's good.
Yeah.
You know something?
I
Thank you
mean,
for
what,
bringing it
a
up.
straight guy at Moulin Rouge? Give me a
Right.
break.
So you know all the other
I
dancers.
sell fucking popcorn. You know what I mean?
We got about 100 women working at the Moulin Rouge.
Oh my God, they're all.
Was it just tag and release? Tag and release.
French,
tag and release.
International,
Dutch, Australian, unbelievable. And there was 2 straight guys.
You and the other dude.
Me and my friend, who was South African, ex-military as well.
Fish in a barrel.
So it was kind of we had fun.
You think?
Give us
story?
the guy on the couch is now producing.
All right, one story. We used to have a sunbed in the back of the Moulin Rouge backstage. There was a sunbed. So I walked in one day, and there happened to be one of the dancers was lying on the sunbed, nothing on, of course. So I said, "Do you mind if I join you?" It was a big double bed sunbed. She's like, "No, come on in."
A sunbed meaning a tanning bed?
Tanning bed.
Okay.
Tanning bed,
Or
sorry.
where you make sons?
You try to make babies.
I think after all these years, I think I would have found out.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so your
anyway,
son.
So I walked in, and she was fine. Come on in. So we went at it, and that was it. I walked out, and see you later. Never spoke to her again in my life. Never saw her. She was in
went
the
at
show.
it. What? Putting lotion on each other's back? Went at it.
We could say that. I don't know how this goes down. I don't know what we're allowed
No,
to
we
say.
can talk about it. Yeah,
anything.
no. This is we're all good with this.
Fine.
So was it that free? Was in that play production? Was there an unwritten rule like, hey, we're not going to get all drama about it?
Yeah.
Or everybody was cool with it?
Yeah, completely cool.
Any cycles? Like any chicks fall in love with you? Like saying, oh my
No.
God, what are you doing,
Nope.
banging?
Nope.
Really?
Now, did you do it regular or in the vagina?
There it is.
Every freaking week, Cliff Simon. I am sorry, but we do want an answer.
I take the fifth on that.
That's within podcast reason.
So things are clicking, and then you looked around and said, you know something, I'm outgrowing it, or I want to experience something else. You took the risk and you left.
Yeah.
You left something that was probably making you pretty good money.
Yeah.
And it was your breakthrough.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got ants in your pants, and you want to come to the U.S. of A.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
There's always been something pushing me. The same reason why I got out of the swimming pool that day and decided I'm leaving, I'm going back into the military. Something told me I needed that discipline. I needed to cut the apron strings from my parents. I needed to be independent. That was the same feeling I had when I decided I'm not re-signing a contract at the Moulin Rouge, because I knew there was so much more that I wanted to do and experience. I didn't know exactly what. I always had in the back of my mind that I would like to get into acting, but I had no idea how or what it took or anything like that. I met a Swedish girl when I was at the Moulin Rouge, and I ended up going back to Sweden, to Stockholm. I lived there with her for 3 months. She was a choreographer. We did some shows together, and then the same thing. She was such an amazing girl, but I said, I have to go back to South Africa. I went back to South Africa, and there was a reason why, but I didn't know why. I then won the Mr. South Africa competition, which was like this action man competition thing. One of the reason I entered that competition was because one of the prizes was a walk-on role
at a soap opera.
On the soap opera.
I knew it.
Right. So it's funny how things work out. So I end up winning the competition.
Of course.
I meet the producer, and he says, great, you're coming on the show, blah, blah. I went, no. Just like that. I went, no. And he just looked at me like I'm nuts. I said, this is what I've always wanted to do. I know it and I feel it. I said, I want to go and study drama, and when I'm ready to come on the show, I want to come on the show as a real actor.
Ah, that's cool.
Come
man.
on. What a badass is
So
that?
he just looked at me
Yeah.
and he went, okay. He said, I'll get you a drama coach. So he got me a drama coach. So I started doing drama. And then my coach, he told her, you tell me when you think he's ready to come on the show. So after 3 or 4 months of training with her, she called him and she said, he's ready to come on the show. So he put me on the show as a character, the CEO of a company and blah, blah, blah. I had a kid who had cancer and the whole soap opera story.
Hang on a second. Sir.
Yeah.
It is touching.
It works.
Group hug.
It works.
All right, we got it.
Yeah, it just, my character took off with the fans. Right. He saw that this is what I really wanted to do, and me and him got on very well together. And within 3 months of being on the show, they offered me a contract role, and I stayed with them for 7 years.
Damn.
You were after the whole Paris Nights. Name of the book. It's right here, and we're gonna dive into this, people. I know. Let's talk about the book. We're gonna get to the book.
I read the book, by the way, and the reason why he left is because he had banged every single dancer on the show.
And in Paris,
he had run out.
There was
run out of fuel.
And went for the coordinator, and then that was it.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom. So 7 years on a popular soap opera.
Yeah.
And so we all know soap fans are fanatics. How was that?
That was amazing. I mean, that was an
Were you single then?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't married yet. Well, I got married kind of halfway through that, but I was with my wife now.
Wow.
But it was insane. I was doing appearances every single weekend. Every single weekend I was away from home.
Like television show appearances?
No. Well, television, but mainly like personal appearances, signing autographs and doing shows and getting paid for it, which was unbelievable. I'd never earned money like this in my life. I owned 3 properties in South Africa because I'm kind of I don't waste my money. I know I'm kind of savvy enough to know, okay, this is a wave that's not going to last forever.
You buy a house at J-Bay?
Yeah. No, I didn't, unfortunately. So, yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, going out to dinner, like every single day, I would have people. I couldn't go anywhere without someone or a group of people coming up to me and going, "Oh, Mitch, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Can we get your autograph?" Every single day.
And
how's your son? Is he okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's the cancer?
Like, yeah.
Why are you being such a bastard to your wife? You know?
People actually think it's real.
Yeah. My
that crazy?
mom used to call me the next day and say, "Cliff, why did you say that to that woman? That's so bad." I'm like, "Mom,
That is
it's
hilarious.
a TV show." But
Somebody
she was
wrote
like
it.
my biggest fan.
How proud.
Unbelievable, yeah. And the only thing I really regret is my mom's never seen any success I've had in the United States at all. She unfortunately passed away in 2001. But, you know, she was my biggest fan, which is amazing.
Which
is the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Did it wear you out? Were you at the end of your 7-year run, which is crazy that you stayed in one location for that long? Did you just like, okay, I love the fans, I love my role, but you went up to executive producer and said, kill me off. I don't even know how you ended.
Yeah, I knew I needed to do that because that was like, you know, a lot of actors talk down about soap opera, but a lot of big actors these days have come from soap opera. It is the best training ground you can get as an actor. And I tell every young actor that. We had actors in South Africa who kind of poo-pooed soap opera, of course, like everyone did. But when they guest starred on the show, they would always come to us afterwards and say, "We cannot believe how hard you guys work. We're shooting 23, 24 scenes a day, every single day."
You learned.
I was picking up a new script every single night.
How do you guys memorize?
you get into it. That's why it's such an amazing training ground. It's
But you
so
learn
amazing.
technically how to be an actor.
Right.
Right,
Because
how to
you're
hit your
shooting-
mark,
Where the
all
light
that
is,
stuff,
back
yeah.
off.
You're shooting
yeah.
with 3 cameras. You got to know your eye lines,
Right.
the shadows. You got to know. So when I eventually started doing the normal TV shows and some movies,
Right.
it actually was easy after that.
Yeah.
You ever take a dump on someone's trailer you don't like?
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Was that the question?
I mean, it's a question. It's not
You know
a
something?
dog
Be honest
question.
with you, that's legit.
Yeah,
Did you ever
thank
just
you.
like
That's
drop a
within
deuce?
podcast reason.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, I have, but I can't
Drop
say.
it down.
Otherwise, they're going to know who did it.
Okay, this podcast has got very little structure, and I know we're jumping around a little bit. And this is why I want you. I'd like for you to dive into the book. The book is brand new,
Just released.
right? And
Getting good reviews, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm hearing. It's good buzz. Good buzz. I'm just wondering why it took so long.
Wow. You know what? I had to meet. I'm not a writer. Okay. Writing, like acting, it's very technical. You have to know how to write.
You know how to spell.
You know what? Yeah. Everyone has a story, but it's very hard to put it on paper.
But how many
You got
years?
to learn to read before you can write.
That's all I'm saying.
Nobody gave me those details.
He's like, I'm going to do my memoirs. Oh, damn it.
But I guess you had to have the confidence to go back and open up those closets that
Yeah,
could be risky.
Yeah.
Especially with your wife. This is pre-wife,
Yeah.
and
I had to sit down and discuss with her. Look, this is what I'm doing. She totally understood. I said, but please, you got to understand. Like, this is everything that went on, of course, before I met you.
You did not pull any punches, is what you're saying.
I didn't.
You wrote it down.
There's still a few things that aren't in here. Yeah.
Let's talk about those.
But what I do want to talk about is Paris and a show this big and being that successful. There's some semi shady characters just within the community.
Yeah. Look, Pigalle, where the Moulin Rouge is located, is really, I'm not sure about these days, but in the 80s, 90s, the heyday of Paris, which it really was. It's all a lot of, I don't know if I could use the word mafia, but a lot of underground gangs, French, Turkish, Italian, all around there. That's what Pigalle's run on. They have prostitutes on the street. They're running these prostitution rings and shows. It's all underground stuff. Paris turns upside down at nighttime.
What do you mean?
So that's what I like to try and explain to people. Like, if you go to Paris as a tourist, you walk around during the day. It's the most amazing city. At night, it's the most amazing city. But all the people you see during the day in Paris disappear.
And a whole crew.
And a
gutter
whole
rats come out.
A whole new city comes out of that sunset.
Right. Okay.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So,
Have you ever been to Paris?
I've never been to Paris. No.
Me either.
But when these characters, the night people, come out, are they knocking on your door? Hey, listen, I know you're the lead. You're the principal over here. Can you come over to my friend Eddie's and
Sing happy birthday to him.
I'll tell you a little story. It'll take a few minutes, but
please do.
Fine.
Okay, so where do I start? So one of the stories, the Moulin Rouge is a family-run business, whatever that means, okay? But it's a family-run business. It's not a corporate business. It's run by one family. They own the Lido as well in Paris. So one night, when I arrived in Paris, I met a prostitute there. She was in the streets. We all knew her. All
Hey,
the
you don't
Moulin
need to
Rouge.
explain.
Yeah, it's okay. You're in a safe house.
All the dancers know her, so we're greeting her and whatever. Anyway, we friends, we drink, whatever. And then the one night, the Moulin Rouge, a guy steals a bag from one of the dancers outside the Café Palmier, which is across the road from the Moulin Rouge. We all used to hang out there. I hear one of the dancers shout, "He's got my bag, he's got my bag." So here's just another story of what I do. I see the guy walking with a bag, and I take off. I'm running for him. And I got cowboy boots on. And I'm thinking, as I'm chasing this guy down Boulevard Clichy into the traffic, I'm like, why the fuck am I wearing cowboy boots? I'm not going to catch this guy. And I'm going to make a fool of myself. Anyway, I catch the guy. I dive on him. A car hits us from the front, but hits him. So he's between me and the car.
Nice.
Okay? We go to the ground. I'm sitting on it, and I'm pummeling him. The police arrive. They grab me. They grab him. I take the bag, and I walk back to the dancers. They look, thank you, Cliff. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what kind of individual this man is.
So I'm like the little hero. But the police were there in a second, which was odd. He was an Arab guy. Whatever that meant, but I didn't know what it meant. He was just a guy.
I know what you meant.
So this carries on. So now I go back to the bar. I buy a beer, and everyone's like, "Oh, Cliff, thank you so much. That was amazing." My friend Gavin, the other principal at the show, the only other straight South African guy, also nuts, goes, and I hear somebody start shouting, "Gavin's in a fight!"
Oh no!
And I look over, and I see something's going on outside the entrance to the Moulin Rouge, and I put my beer down. And I go, here we go.
Take two.
And I walked up, and I see another young Arab guy jump on the back of our manager from the Moulin Rouge. So I grab him. He's trying to hit Gavin over this guy. So I grab him, put him over my head, and drop him onto the ground. He hits the ground, and he pulls out a knife.
Oh, jeez.
And I said to him, you don't want to pull out a knife. Like, don't pull a knife on me. I come from a gun culture. Like, a knife really means nothing. He pulled the knife, and I just lost it. So I laid into this guy. Anyway, I feel somebody grab my right arm, and I feel somebody grab my left arm, and I look on my left, and it's the police, and I look on my right, and it's the Italian guy who owns the pizzeria. So the Italian guy says to me, pull your arm away from the cop. Just pull it. So I look at him, and I pull my arm away from the cop. He turns around, he sees the pizzeria guy, and he turns his back, and he walks away. So I get up, and I go back to the bar.
You're like a made man. You're a made man right now.
So Gavin says we got to go to the police station. They've locked up a gang of 11 Arab guys that come here in the summer. What they do is they mug everyone they steal as much as they can, and they go home. The one guy happened to be the manager of the Moulin Rouge that we saved him from the mugging. These guys were trying to attack him. So now all of a sudden things started to hot up. And everyone's looking at me and Gavin, and especially me, as like, well, these guys aren't just dancers. Like, what's going on here? I then have an Italian girlfriend with me one night in the Café Palmier. We have a drink. We walk back to the car. The prostitute, Pascal, starts screaming and shouting across the road at me.
Oh, come on.
She comes across the road, and she grabs me, and I was wearing an old leather necklace, and she's not letting me go. And I tell Gavin, please tell her to let me go. Like, you don't touch these girls. I know. So let me backtrack one step. When I went into the Palmier earlier that night, I went up to her and I said hello, and she threw a glass of wine in my face, the prostitute. So I said to her friend, okay, this is a story. So I said to her friend, what's her problem? She says she loves you. I'm like, she loves me, like, so she gets jealous when she sees me with girls.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm like,
that's what happens a lot with me and prostitutes.
Yeah, no, it's like nuts, and I haven't paid her a cent. Anyway, so that's what happened. So she's screaming, shouting. I tell this Italian girl, get in the car. Pascal, unfortunately, is not letting me go. And I said, Gavin, you got to get her off me. He's like, I'm not getting involved. I said, Gavin, I'm going to have to hit this girl. I'm going to have to get her off me. I don't hit women. I don't agree with anyone who does. But I had to get her off me.
Did you clock her?
She was going nuts. I clocked her.
Oh, my God. I don't believe you punched a prostitute. How
punched a
you know something?
Yeah, I got to learn how to dance. I mean,
you are a maniac.
And they think all dancers are gay? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, immediately.
Oh, my God. A prostitute loves you.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I had to put her down on the ground. So I put her on the ground. She was screaming, this is not over, this is not over. I went back with my Italian girlfriend to a hotel. I then caught a train back to my place late in the morning, the next morning, and I go to sleep. My car was parked in the street outside my apartment because I couldn't fit it in that night. I wake up in the morning, I go back down to my car the next day, and there's dead flowers on my windscreen.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay.
That's a warning.
Here we go. They know where I live. Someone followed me home, blah, 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 blah. So that night, I'm on my way to the Moulin Rouge. I decide I'm leaving my car. I'm not going near my car. I'm like, I don't know.
You think it's tick, tick,
100%.
kaboom.
Yeah, it's going to blow up. So I put a stick in my boot. I put a knife up my sleeve. And I go off to the Moulin Rouge to work. I'm just a dancer.
You're just going to work.
Just going to dance.
God.
I tell the dance captain I need to have a meeting with the owner of the Moulin Rouge, Jackie Clerico. And he said he doesn't take meetings. I said, I need to have a meeting with him because, like, this is what has happened. So he's like, he looks at me like, oh, fuck. Anyway, he sets up a meeting. I go in and I see the owner. And he says to me, basically after a long, a really nice guy, amazing guy, slick hair, beautifully dressed, like a real gentleman. Don't worry, we'll take care of it. That was it. So I walked out. I said, okay. So I do the show, whatever. 2 or 3 days later, I go back to the cafe across the road from the Moulin Rouge, as we normally do every night after the show, to have a drink. There's a guy, big guy, sitting in a beautiful suit, slick back hair, maybe at that time 35 years old, a little bit older than me, good-looking guy, talking to some of the dancers. So I walk in and the dancers introduce me. Oh, this is Jean-Paul, as I call him. So we sit down, we start chatting, and we're talking. And anyway, things slowly, to fast forward, he started taking me to private clubs, and taking me out of town to all these fancy places. He had a Porsche 930 Turbo. And he's like, sit here, I'm going upstairs. He goes upstairs, he comes downstairs with a briefcase. I don't ask any questions. So in my mind, it was all a test. He was testing me to see what was going on. He then says to me, we're having a meeting, we're having a sit-down. You need to be at the cafe tomorrow night at this time. So I'm like, okay. So after the show, I walk into the cafe, and there's the guy with his 2 bodyguards who run the prostitution ring. And here's Jean-Paul with his 2 guys, and they're all sitting like this.
Now, are you freaking out? You keeping your shit tight?
I'm freaking out. So Jean-Paul called. He says,
You got your cowboy boots on?
yeah, I did.
He's got a stick in one, and he's got the thing up the arm.
And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like holding on to everything. Anyway, he tells these guys, they're all talking in French. I said to him, what's going on? He said, just keep quiet, let me talk. He tells these guys, anyway, they finish speaking in French, and he says, in English, if you want a war, we'll have a war, but Cliff's working for us. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I would have just dropped a deuce right in my pants right there.
Right.
So I was like, okay. So I was kind of intrigued. I was like, okay. I kind of liked this guy. I mean, I liked him. He was a cool guy. I mean, but you don't mess with him. So the guy who runs the prostitution ring stands up. I stand up. He shakes my hand. He says, all forgotten. No problems. Everything's fine. I said, thank you very much. Merci. Au revoir. Off they walk. Me and Jean-Paul go and have a drink. And he says, can you get diamonds from South Africa? Yeah. So that was the whole crux of the matter. So now I'm thinking, did they set up the whole thing with the prostitute to make me feel obligated?
Oh my God. Are they that good? That's good.
That's how they operate. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we
Did you
got
find
you
the
in
answer to
here.
that at all? Or did you
I said to him, yeah, I know how it can be done. I said, I've never done it. He said, well, I have investors here who are prepared to give you a lot of money. 3 million francs, cash. You take the cash, they want diamonds. You get caught, you're the problem. But they either get their diamonds or they get their cash. Simple as that.
You didn't do. Come on.
So I said, well, let me think about it, So he said to me, explain to me how you do it. So I kind of explained to him. And then I said to him, well, by the way, I mean, I don't really know, but how many diamonds would 3 million francs be? He said, like a half a tin. Like that much in a cup.
Yeah.
So I said, okay. So I said, I know how to do it. I said, I can do it. So that went on for a little while, but all this time now, so I had the guys on who drove their Vespers watching the prostitutes. They were always watching me in the streets, always watching me, but wouldn't come near me.
Because you're
Pascal,
made.
the prostitute,
Yeah, right.
never came near me. Everyone who ran all the porno shops, everything would watch me now, because now I was working, as far as they thought, for these guys.
Right.
And these guys you don't mess with, so therefore
You're
you don't
protected.
mess with me. Right.
But I want to know, how do you know anything about diamonds and getting them out of the country?
I've come from South Africa. I know all the tricks.
This man is a pure badass.
Let me tell you, there's a trick in South Africa where if you go to South Africa as a tourist and you want to go buy an uncut diamond, I don't know what it's like today. I've been away a long time. But in the old days, so you would go to Kimberley. If you've ever heard of the Kimberley Hole, it's like the biggest diamond mine. That's where all the diamonds in the world come from. So you in the street there could approach a guy, just like you approach him for a little bit of weed here or whatever.
Right.
The guy's like, yeah, I'll get you a diamond. So you organize a time. He'll come back. He'll show you a real diamond, just in case you check it with the eyepiece.
Right.
He will then go, he'll pull out a hanky, a tissue, and he'll pretend to sneeze or cough, and he'll switch the diamonds for a fake one.
And give it to you.
And give it to you. And you now hand him money, and that's a fake cubic zirconia or whatever as a tourist, and you walk away. Those are the tricks the guys do, and they make a fortune. They use one real diamond that they steal,
right.
and they make a fortune off that one diamond. Anyway, so all that used to go on there, Anyway, eventually things worked out, and I eventually said to Jean-Paul, I said, listen, I'm 26, and I'd like to see my 27th birthday, so I want out.
Was that motivating you? Not only were you done, like you wanted to try a new experience, but did that push you out the door? Like, wait a second, maybe I got too deep, too many people know my shit. I did punch a prostitute, even though I'm under the protective program. Maybe it's best, not only do I want more experience, but to save my life.
Yeah. No, my big thing was I knew. And Gavin even said to me, he said a very good thing to me. He said, Cliff, there's a saying in France, if you lie down with dogs, you're going to get fleas.
Sure.
Simple as that. And this guy, so luckily I pulled out before. I didn't know where the money was coming from. I didn't even know where this guy lived. We would go out at nights. Yes, we'd go to clubs. He'd say, which girls do you like? We'd get girls. We'd go back to my place. We never ever went to his apartment. I never ever knew his last name. So I can never say who this guy was, ever.
Right.
But I liked him. He eventually apparently got locked up because they were watching him, but he got locked up on some trumped-up charges. But I got out of it, luckily. And he was fine with it. I said to him, I'm 26, I want to see my 27th birthday. He said, good luck, happy birthday.
Okay, so now I'm putting it all together. This story had to be told, amongst others. So, yeah, you must...
Well, you see, the story is about behind the scenes.
Right.
That's the main thing. The Moulin Rouge is the star of the show. But what goes on, people don't know. Like, you go watch a show, it's fantastic. It's like watching a movie. Everything's great,
Right.
You don't know what goes on.
But in the cracks...
You shouldn't really know. But it's kind of interesting for people to really know what goes on behind the scenes. That's what goes on. I mean, dancers are people. They have lives. Things happen to them. But they're on stage every single night doing that show. Right. Just like I was, except I'd have my stick and my knife lying in my dressing room to walk me home, But kind of interesting.
It's kind of mind-boggling that you got out. Thank God you got out alive. But it's just in your DNA to be a badass with weapons, because every time you see, you've been on television a whole bunch of times, and a lot of it's got to do with arms and bullets,
always,
and stuff like that. Is that something so natural that you didn't have to be taught on a scene, like on a movie set or a TV set?
I've never had to be taught. When I go onto a movie set and we've got any kind of firearms or anything like that, I tell the guys straight out, like, you want earplugs? No, I don't want earplugs. I want to hear what I'm... Like, it's a blank. Like, I've fired real live rounds in rooms. Like, it means nothing to me. And they all like,
Anybody walk on a set like Rob Lowe or something, you're like, oh, look how he's holding the gun. Like, what an idiot.
Are you laughing at other people?
I got to tell you, okay, I don't want to know. I'm never going to run down actors, but my pet peeve, every armorer on set always tells you to keep your finger, if you can see, like that. Never keep it on the trigger. It's a safety thing.
Right.
You see it in the military, guys walk like this,
right,
which is the correct thing to do. But when you're in a situation where your life's in danger or you're coming into a room, your finger is on that trigger,
right,
ready to shoot. You never do this. When I see an actor walk into a room, like on all these shows I do, and he's coming in after me, the bad guy, and I see him walk in, and he is like that, right, with a weapon, I'm like, dude, I'm going to shoot you before your finger gets to the trigger. Like, why don't people tell them, put your finger on the trigger? But every actor is taught for safety on set.
Sure.
Don't keep your finger on the trigger. And when I go on set and the armorer, we're doing a shooting scene, I always tell the armorer, I want a full clip, whatever that is, 30 rounds, 20 rounds, whatever it's going to be, because I'm firing every single bullet in that magazine. It's just the way I am. Like, I'm not going to go pop, pop. I'm going to go pop, 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 pop until it's empty.
Hey, you guys, Chunky B. 1 degree of Chunky B in the garage of love, and if you want to get your quack on, you go to Venice Duck. And I'm not even kidding. This is a good beer. Tell your friends. Don't be afraid to get your quack on. Dude, this is actually really good beer.
It's fucking great beer.
You're so lucky.
Oh shit, I'm still recording.
Hey, you guys, music provided by Play Up Music. That's playupmusic.com.
Hey, I'm actor and recent author Cliff Simon. You're tuned in to 1 Degree of Chunky B.
Black is the night, oh, so damn.
You guys have got to you've got to look this guy up.
Yeah.
Cliff Simon. Just YouTube his ass and just watch some of these clips, and you're like, "Fuck, I want to be like him."
That segment, by the way, brought to you by Astacaps.
We will get. Oh wait a second, we can't.
It's fine.
That is a crack up. Your stuff.
Well, I want to segue into the movies and TV and.
Well, hold on before
haven't
we go.
really gotten there
Is
yet.
there something else maybe that is not so life threatening in this? Is there something cute and sassy, or can we move on to be what a badass?
It's cute. It starts off with running through. It ends up where I get married on a beautiful game lodge in South Africa to a beautiful woman. And it's a coming of age story. Yes, I'm very arrogant in the story. I'm a 26-year-old single guy. I mean, the world's at my feet. You know, I'm arrogant. Yes, I can fight. I'm not scared to get into a fight. I'm not really scared of anything. And eventually I meet a woman who all of a sudden, like, I don't feel like fighting anymore. Like, isn't that amazing? It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Since I've met my wife, I've had a couple of arguments, but I have not had one fist fight since I met my wife.
I wonder who would win in a fight, Andy, Chunky or Cliff. Who would you put your money
I
on?
vote for Cliff.
Really?
Chunky's a dirty
He's
fighter.
a trained fighter.
No, he's
His
strong.
dad was in the CIA.
The one thing I have is I'm very fast.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing Chunky's not.
No,
So,
I'm a lover, not a fighter. See now,
you know what I mean?
See now the pieces of the puzzle are coming together. You were behind the scenes with let's call them thugs.
Yeah.
Thugs.
Oh, yeah.
Thugs and Dancers. That should be the name of the
That's,
book.
that's exactly what my point was.
What a great name.
That's going to be book 2. Yeah. That's going to be the sequel. But that's the oxymoron of it all is. Look at me. I'm giving up everything. I sold my little beach car. I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
Cut to less than a year later, but 6 months later, you're talking about smuggling diamonds.
Yeah, I
It
know,
sounds
it's
like a
insane.
Netflix original series. You know what I mean?
Dude, this is
like it
this
really
is-
should be.
Say hello to a movie. We're busting shit out right
It's
now.
a 5-night event.
This is going to be a movie.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. There's something. It's odd, but like I was saying, I for years told my friends stories, and they're just like, you're nuts. Like, why don't you got to write this stuff down? So eventually, then of course I met my writing partner, and it all just fell into place. And I started talking, and then of course while we were writing this, I started dreaming about things I'd forgotten. I started dreaming about military stuff.
That's
I
somebody
started-
saying there's more stories. That's
Yeah.
a gift right
It
there.
was insane. I mean, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like, and I'd forgotten that stuff.
How therapeutic. Mm-hmm. That must have been like, oh, I'm going to go see the
Yeah.
shrink. This is like, you saved yourself thousands. Not
Yeah.
saying that you need to see a shrink.
No, it was because just talking with my partner
Yeah.
about it was like complete therapy.
But
Yeah.
a thought of mine was, are you going to, blow the dust off of some angst of other people? If they're like, oh, yeah, this guy's talking stories about, that's me he's talking about.
Well, they're going to know who I'm talking about. I have changed some names there because I have to.
Right.
And also because I want to. I don't want it to affect anyone. But I made sure what I'm really talking about in there it's not going to affect anyone's life.
Okay.
I would never want to do that. It's not an expose. It's not that kind of thing. An interesting story is I did get involved with the legal department of the Moulin Rouge about this book because I originally had the picture of the Moulin Rouge for the cover. And within 2 days of me putting that up on the internet, I got a letter from the legal department. And I still have a good relationship with them. I still know a lot of the people who work there.
Right.
So I said, it's fine. I'll pull that cover because it's all copyrighted images and everything like that. And then they requested to read the full book, the manuscript, before it was printed, of course. So I said, okay. I said, I'll let you read the book. I said, you do understand I don't have to because this is a memoir. It's purely my point of view. It's my experiences
Is
as
it a
they
memoir
were.
or is it an un?
Unmemoir.
Un.
Unmemoir.
Was that French?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, you don't know?
he's over there giving me like he's an international lover look.
I'm exhausted. This is our second show tonight.
I'll just get my second wind. Yeah. Okay, so they.
So they contacted me. They read the manuscript, and there was a couple of things. The owner, who is now the son of the owner, when I was there, was a little unhappy about.
Okay.
I kind of made his father out to be too much of Underworld.
Right.
I said, it's fine. I said, I'll change that. I want to keep a good relationship with you guys. It's not an expose. We're talking about like a very famous place here, and I'm talking about how good it is. I'm not. There's nothing bad about the Moulin Rouge. It's the most amazing place, and I know it's a family-run thing, and I don't want to. Your family's amazing. I mean,
Right. But there's some
so
stuff
I
that went
changed
off.
a couple of things. There's things that went on in the audience that we as dancers on the stage can see, and he was very unhappy about that. So I said, well, that's what we saw. And he's,
For instance,
Yeah. Like what you see?
for instance, prostitutes giving guys blowjobs.
Stop it.
that's what I'm talking about.
In the- Come on.
There it is.
Come on, it's Pagal. It's Pagal. So I couldn't really say that
I mean, you know.
in writing.
You
So-
kill two birds, right? Like, honey, I'll go to the play with you,
Yeah.
I couldn't say that in
but
writing.
I'm definitely getting a BJ.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I mean?
that's not
It's
even in the book.
compromise.
You're telling us stuff. You just told us a story that it's not even in the book.
Well, it does.
That's how good this show is, people. That's how good. Cliff
A lot of
Simon.
insight.
At the end, I do talk about the prostitutes in the audience,
Yeah.
but I don't say what they were doing. So it's not a big deal. The girl who I worked with, who's now his girlfriend, and who has had a child with them, thought it was fantastic. And he was amazed because he said, this really goes on in the show? And she said, yes, we see it. And he was amazed. The people who own the place and who run the place have no idea what goes on in the audience. Of course, if they did, they would ask those people to
Yeah.
cease and desist or
Yeah.
leave. Because it is a family show. I mean,
Hopefully,
they want-
you'd get finished first. I mean, you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to like cut them off.
That would be awkward. As soon as you're done, you're out of
I
here.
mean, yeah. listen, finish up and get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here.
drink your champagne and like.
Come on now.
So
it's kinda
1991, is that a turning point in your career? Is that when the acting started?
92.
92.
Yeah. 92, everything changed. My whole life changed. That's when I started acting full time. And
You had moved to the States or no?
Not yet.
okay.
I moved to the States in 2000. Yeah, so I was on the soap opera for 7 years before that and doing some various other stuff. Still a little bit of dancing. We used to do trade shows and
Chucky,
I was
let
full-time
me
modeling.
run down a couple things he's been in. Okay, just for the folks at home.
Yeah,
And if you're
definitely.
in North Carolina riding around, you're like, who is this crazy cat?
Yeah.
Nash Bridges,
Awesome.
Stargate, right? The
Yeah.
SG-1 and Continuum, NCIS New Orleans, The Americans, amazing series, by the way. Castle,
Just been nominated for Emmys in 2016. Yep.
incredible.
Really?
right?
Unbelievable. Yep.
Criminal Minds, et cetera, et cetera. The list goes on and on and on. The guy's been in everything. Do you play poker?
I
That's
can.
a no.
Yeah. I hesitated.
Yeah.
I hesitated.
We could be played. We're getting played here. It's,
Yeah.
You know, he's just
We
sucking
might
us
be getting
in.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever play the banjo? You ever work at Subway?
Nope.
You know how to make a lobster bisque.
No.
So there's a couple of things there. John.
He's a real guy. He's a real guy.
Yeah. I don't have a giant paperclip at home either. So sorry.
Flashback.
Well done.
I'm a real guy.
What a
I'm real
loser.
guy.
You're a beach man.
I pretend to be bad.
You're a beach man. You love
I'm
the
a beach man. I love the water. I love anything to do with the water. I'm there. Yeah.
Do you ever think back? Maybe if I just gave it one more year, I would have that gold.
Yeah. You know what? Not anymore. But for years I did. Yeah.
From England?
2 weeks into my basic training in the South African Air Force, I was like, what the hell have I done?
Oh,
I could be
yeah.
on my way to Olympic
man.
gold, and here I am crawling around in the dirt, getting kicked in the head. You know?
But after the experience, you were like, okay.
Oh, yeah. No, afterwards, you know, when I got out of there and when I started getting on with my life, I was like, this is what I was meant to be doing.
Yeah.
If I had gone to the Olympics, I still believe I would have medaled, but what would I be doing now? That's the important thing. And what I would be doing now is I'd probably be a swimming coach, and I don't want to be a swimming coach.
Yeah, the shorts are
I
not
do. You're right.
comfortable at all.
I did not want to be a swimming coach. So, you know, I had scholarships offered to me to Southern Methodist University in Texas.
That's the
And
best swimming school in the
best
country,
swimming,
by the
the
way.
Mustangs. Yeah, awesome. And Houston University. So I was going to come out to the States in 1980 and have 4 years academics and swim training in the United States before the '84 Olympics. That was the plan. I had it, you know, and I would have swum for the Mustangs, who were phenomenal. But I didn't do it. And then, yes, I regretted it. But like I was saying, it's like I wouldn't be doing what I was doing now. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now
Exactly, yeah.
if I'd done that.
Right,
So
right.
I don't regret it at all. No. I would be a swimming coach in shorts walking up and down the side of a pool.
Whistle.
No. Yep.
You have to have a whistle and a
You need a
clipboard.
whistle. Yeah.
Okay, you love the beach. You love the beach, and is anything that is involved with water and the beach, you pretty much have become an expert on. You're a skipper.
I'm a sailing skipper. Yeah.
Andy's a Gilligan. I just-
Dude,
yeah.
you should go on a 3-hour tour.
We've been on one tonight.
Almost exactly.
Yeah. So I've done my skipper. I've just done my big catamaran sailing course. So I'm qualified to catamaran up to 50-foot catamarans, which is my
Really?
thing.
That's
That's
cool.
my dream. I want a catamaran in the Bahamas, and that's my thing.
Just island hop.
Yep.
With the woman.
Yeah.
Love it.
In my beginning stages of becoming a
Human
cliff
being?
stalker, no, it's not, you were doing this interview and you just blew up this big kite and you had a harness on and you threw the kite up and you just took off from the beach, caught a little wave going out, did a little back thing up there like 7 foot air, and he sails off to the sunset.
Crazy.
I
A
mean,
little dancey thing.
yeah,
So yeah, kiteboarding is phenomenal. When I came out here in 2000, I was teaching windsurfing back in South Africa. I'd never heard of kiteboarding, never seen it. I was driving up the PCH towards Malibu with my wife, and I saw this kite way out in the ocean, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" So I parked and I waited for it to come back. And then I saw a guy underneath on like what looked like a wakeboard.
right.
And
You're
I was like,
freaking
I
out.
have never seen this before. So I get home straight away on the internet. What is this? Kiteboarding. And I start looking. Then I start researching who sells this equipment. And I find a guy out in Malibu who sells the equipment. I go out and I buy my board, my kite. I get a lesson on the beach. And then it still took me. I mean, man,
It's very difficult to do.
It's very difficult. And I came from a windsurfing background, and it's still very difficult. I bounced down that beach on my backside for days
Yeah.
before I eventually got it. And it's a very slow learning curve. But yeah, unbelievable, addictive sport.
My neighbor Greg, he does that,
Is that
and
right?
that's the closest near death experience.
Oh, really?
When he got caught up underneath the thing, the kite,
lines and everything.
and he's just trying to get some air.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Have
no,
you
we've
had
had
it?
guys. We've had some guys that because I go off Topanga Beach, which is very rocky.
Yeah.
And you make a mistake there, you slip or fall, and the kite drags you across the rocks. We had guys that had, smashed their heads there, and so it's dangerous.
You know,
mean,
I come from a surfing family.
Sure.
And the other day, all of us were talking about learning how to kite surf.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sometimes it gets windy and the waves are kind of shitty, and
Yeah.
and you see you out there.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 guys out of Topanga.
Yeah.
We live in Topanga Canyon,
Oh.
and
Hey.
we're like, wow, let's learn how to do that.
Hey, Garrett, I'm never going to tell you how to be a father because you're a damn good father, and
Hey,
I know that
thanks,
for a fact.
my brother.
But do you want to risk your son doing another event that could get you get hurt?
It's been a tough summer.
He's got 2 badass surfers, but the youngest one is
great.
like crazy, going to be
Pro.
really
Yeah.
famous,
Yeah.
and the kid's fearless like you, and he's not afraid of pain, so he'll push the envelope. And like the other day, he came over to the house, right? Because he's friends with my boy, and I look over at him, and he doesn't say what happened. He's like, got in a fight. And I'm like, because it gets very competitive at the pier. It's very
Yeah,
territorial.
yeah.
And I'm like, and he was like, don't worry, the other guy looks worse. And then I see my son just starting to laugh. I'm like, no. So I guess he got hit up in it.
Yeah, he got smacked in the eye. Then the next day, he got ran over, and
Wow.
and he's he's just recovering from a huge ATV accident down in
Yeah,
Baja.
yeah. We thought for a second there
But by the way, his surf season starts on Saturday, so good luck, little man.
yeah,
We're with
yes. How many events does he have during the
He's probably 35.
really? All in California?
Mm-hmm.
Right on. No, you do a lot of, but do you surf?
I don't surf. I paddle surf.
You paddle surf.
I paddle surf. So I got an 8'10" paddle board from Australia, JP
Nice.
Australia. Great boards. That's
Such
a
a
reason.
great
That's a
sport.
new thing for me, and it's I was looking for something to do when there's no wind,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I saw paddle boarding. So I started off as normal. I bought myself a huge 12-foot paddle board, and I'd go paddling for miles. And I entered the Santa Monica 5.5-mile paddleboard race, and I'm like, this is insane, I was like, never again. I did it once. I'm like, never again.
Right.
Then they started to develop wave riding paddle boards.
Sure.
Shaped with rockers,
smaller
just
one,
like a surfboard. And so I started to get into that. I bought a 9'2" board, and I started to learn to ride the waves. And then I started, okay, I'm going to get the best board I can. Spent like $2,500 importing a board from Australia, and I got JP Australia. It's a 8'10" board. It weighs 15 pounds.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And just my surfing just took off. I'd never really been a surfer, but now that I'm doing it, totally addictive, and I've been doing it now for 3 years. Yeah.
Now, not that I'm, continue my stalking, but you still have that black pickup truck?
Dark blue, yes.
Oh, it's dark blue. I only see it at night.
Is that the one you have tattooed on your calf?
Yeah. Let me show you this. You know something? Your life is full of. Your life is full of. Your life is full of great things. But I can tell, and I'm just going to take a stab at this. What may suck in your life is that diving in the Pacific here in Los Angeles.
Unfortunately, it doesn't exist for me now anymore.
Because you dove around the world.
Yeah, I've dived in beautiful places and islands, and like we were discussing, I want to put on shorts and just go and dive. I don't want to put on a 7mm wetsuit and go and look at seaweed and kelp. It's just not my thing. I want to go and look at sea life and animals. And
we got Mexico right down the street there.
Yeah.
Sea of Cortez.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, when I get back, I haven't been down to Mexico for years, but when I get back there, definitely. If I go back to the Bahamas, they got some amazing drift diving there. I want to go and do. We'll get back into it, but down here, no, I don't want to go out to Catalina and be in that free.
That's where I got certified.
Yeah,
it was hell.
Yeah,
murky. I think I got certified in like rolling waves, holding onto this line in Malibu, and it was like a private course. And there was just one woman with me, and just two of us in the course. And she ended up getting dragged out and pounded on her chest, and water spitting up.
Great. A lot of confidence building.
But that's all I knew. And then all of a sudden, I went down to Honduras. And I'm like, whoa, there's a whole other world out there. Yeah. Did you ever do the big thing in Australia?
No, Great Barrier. I've got to still do that. Yeah. But talking about like really bad stuff, when I was going through my rescue diver course, we did it. We used to do them in it was a quarry in South Africa. Freezing water. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Disorientating. You throw up under the water. But I tell you something, it was the best place to do the course, because when you get through that course and you go and you dive in a beautiful place, everything's easy.
Right. It's all downhill.
Yeah. But when you do a course like at Catalina, where it's murky and it's rough and it's cold, it's great. It's great training. Yeah.
In January I was diving in Cozumel. Mm-hmm. And what is the big? I know it's a 3-hour boat ride from there, but the Big Blue Hole. Have you heard of Big Blue Hole?
In Cozumel?
Yes, I've heard of that.
It's like some kind of like weird freaking.
It's in the Bahamas, actually. There's a Big Blue Hole.
Yeah. All right. Well,
one of those ones that just go down for 300-400 meters.
Yeah.
Hey, what's next? Let's ask him what's next.
Yeah.
What's on the horizon for you?
I'm busy shooting. I just finished filming a movie in New Zealand called Project Eden, Volume 1. Volume 2 is coming up, and I think I'm written into it. Hopefully I am. I'm a Russian mobster, of course, the bad guy as usual. And that's shooting in Peru, so I hope I can be part of that. But this movie, Project Eden, should be released by the end of this year, 2016.
That's awesome.
You have a lot of moving parts. You're spinning a lot of plates. Do you, outside like the beach and stuff, do you ever take time off of not grinding for work?
Oh, yeah. I take a lot of time to myself. Yeah. I'm at home a lot. I don't live a very fast lifestyle. I don't live the Hollywood lifestyle at all. I like being on my own. I like peace and quiet. I spend time with my dog.
Yeah. And I love this. I love this because we did talk off microphone about this. You've got properties around the world.
I used to have, but now I own in Miami. Yeah.
Okay. But you have been living in Culver City for 16 consecutive years in the same house from the same landlord, and your rent has only gone up $300.
Yep.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. It's like I say, it's the perfect place. I don't want anything more. My landlords are phenomenal people. I love them. They're great. We get on so well. They look after my dog if I go away. I look after their dogs if they go away. No, it's great. Culver City is an amazing place now. It wasn't.
Isn't it crazy?
It is now.
Isn't it crazy? 16 years ago, you could probably have seen a tumbleweed blow down the street.
Oh, yeah. And I did.
Go figure.
I did. Yeah.
And now
there was a gunfight right afterwards.
You're right by the bakery, right?
Right by the bakery. Yep.
So you and your wife could just like walk out, and there's like so many great restaurants.
Yeah, they have all the gallery. They have like the gallery walks once a week where everyone just walks the streets to all the galleries. They have wine and cheese and all that kind of stuff. So it's really good. Yep.
Anything else? How long are we, Andy?
I was like at hour and 2.
Oh, okay. All right. Really?
Yeah,
that
we
was
did
that was an
good.
hour.
Yeah. By the way, this we are naming Volume 2.
Volume 2.
Yeah, so
Philip Simon, Volume
Yeah.
2.
just a nice segue there.
Okay, so the book is on Amazon.
Right. So the book's available on Amazon.com. Go search either my name, Cliff Simon, or Paris Nights. It'll come up. It's available in the Kindle edition. The audio book is available, which I did the audio book
Oh, you
for
did?
myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's good
Get
for
the
you,
voice.
Chunk.
Sure. I had to. Yeah, so Kindle, ebook, hardcover,
Will you
and
sign
audio.
those?
Yeah, right
I
on
will
the
sign
show.
these books for you. For
Chunky,
sure.
Chunky.
Right now.
And he's got to have Twitter, right?
Yeah, you got a Twitter account too.
Yep.
We got to talk about that.
Twitter is Cliff M. Simon.
Cliff M.
Mark
Simon.
is my middle name, I think. Yes.
We'll go
M.
with that.
Simon.
That's
Chunky
cool.
B.
Great
Yeah.
show, man. Yeah, what a trooper.
Yes.
One
Thank
day
you,
we'll
guys. No,
reveal.
it's awesome to be in. Yeah, thanks
The
for
show
talking about
must
the
go
book.
on.
And-
This was
Yes.
typical Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, Cliff Simon, do yourself a favor, do your friends a favor. Just drop into his world and see the badass acting that he does. He's got the book Paris Nights that it's just not light and fluffy up on stage. There's nooks and crannies running the streets of late night Paris.
Yeah, man. In between the dancing, it's just a lot of banging
Yeah.
and fighting and shit, man. It's cool.
Could you imagine being his buddy when he's like 26
Oh
years
my!
old?
I'd take the leftovers. I'd take the
Oh,
right overs.
man,
I'd
yeah.
take it all.
I would be like that little fish that follows the shark underneath
this-
the belly.
yeah.
One of those things.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a nibble.
The feeder fish.
Yeah, I'll be a feeder fish.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
awesome. And all right, you are now. First of all, you know that we don't live far from each other.
Yep.
You are now officially a friend of the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank
even
you so
off
much.
mic, if there's any kind of a event or something, we have barbecues and stuff. Can we invite you?
Oh, please do.
Where there's no
Yeah.
microphones and
No,
stuff?
please do. Rob knows.
And what about one of
Please
your
do.
next movies? Can we be in it?
We would like to be an out of focus extra.
Well, okay, I'll tell you something. This is going to be the next movie.
Yes, it is.
Just to give you a little tidbit, it is being read by a major production company at the moment, which
Oh,
I'm really
nice.
excited about. For obvious reasons, can't say who it is.
Don't jinx it.
But it's the perfect place for this book. It's got love, sex, violence. It has all the elements needed for a movie, and they might be interested in doing it as a TV series.
Perfect.
So,
Oh, my God.
yes, there are roles for both
I'm not
of you.
saying we could be dancers, but
No,
I could be a
mafia.
prostitute. I
You know
could be a
something,
prostitute.
right? And I could be your pimp.
Yeah.
I could get beaten up.
Yeah, we could
Prostitute
beat you
or
up.
mafia. It's all good.
You're gonna get beaten up as soon as the show's over. You have an audition tonight.
Man, I gotta say, we've never had a guest just power through, man.
And people are listening right now that have no idea what we're talking about, but
Yeah,
trust
yeah.
us.
Tell 'em.
Trust.
Tell them.
I didn't think we were going to just. Okay, here's what happens. Every once in a while, when you have a production that's put together by duct tape and old
And
cables,
love.
but it stays together and it flourishes through love. We did 50 minutes of what we thought was quality programming,
Yeah, it was a
and
good
then
show.
our tech guy moves this little thing over and realizes there's no audio going through. Yeah. So the kindness of this man to my right with
Thank
integrity,
you.
character, values, friendship, and loyalty goes, guys, it's showbiz. Let's do another one.
The show
do
must
it.
go on.
Let's do it.
A shaft of light came upon us. Birds were singing. Angels were dancing. And Cliff Simon has come into our life in the garage of love. I'm almost tearing up.
I got shin bumps.
That's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much,
you
man.
so
You guys
much,
as well, man.
And guy on the
Great
couch.
show.
Where did Ackman go?
What happened?
You know something? He's been here twice now, and he
Yeah.
thinks he could, run to the
You
bathroom
know he's
anytime he
dropping a
wants.
deuce in your guest room right now.
You know something? That's why I put the plunger right there on show nights. I just bring that plunger out. Cliff Simon, from my heart to yours, on behalf of Gary Adler and Andy Davey,
And Travis.
thank you, and Travis, Wizard of the Knobs. We love you.
Thank you.
You're an awesome individual, and thank you for being part of the show.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for giving me an opportunity. Cool. Thank you.
Check us out, Chunky B, chunkybee.tv, 1 degree of Chunky B.
Yeah, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.